Okay, we're live.
Good evening. Let us begin by acknowledging that we are gathered today in Mi'kmaq, the ancestral, present, and future territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Today, we gather with the intent followed by the living peace and friendship treaties, with respect, cooperation, and coexistence. We are all treaty people. I now call the July 31st, 2025 Town Council meeting to order. And I will take approval of agenda or an amendment. I believe there is an amendment. Councillor Carr.
I will move to approve the agenda with the addition of approving the minutes of the special council meeting of July 3rd be added.
Thank you. Is there a second? Councillor Twano?
There's a second amendment on your agenda.
Oh,
Agenda.
okay. And also a correspondence from Corrine Morgan and David Burns. That's also added to the agenda?
Yeah, yes, certainly.
Okay. And second, agreed with the second? Okay. Ready for the question? All those in favor signify aye. Opposed, nay. The motion is carried. Thank you very much. We will go on to approve the minutes of the July 3rd special meeting. Any errors or omissions?
Mayor, I'd move that we accept the minutes of the July 8th meeting as presented.
The July 8th meeting? Okay, great. Seconder?
Yeah.
Councillor Palfreyman, thank you. All those in favor signify aye. Opposed, nay. The motion is carried. I need approval of the special meeting of July 3rd.
So move.
Councillor Carver, thank you. Seconder?
Second.
Councillor Wilson, thank you. All those in favor signify aye. Opposed, nay. The motion is carried. Thank you. We have come to item 3, which is announcements from council members. Councillor Carver?
Yes, your worship, I just wanted to let council members know and members of the public who are here and via YouTube that there is a review taking place at the moment of fire services and other associative services in the province. And on last Friday, they've been doing a series of workshops around the province. And last Friday, I attended with CAO and the deputy CAO. Very, very interesting discussion about governance, funding, how services are organized, and so on. And there will be more opportunities for input from members of council who weren't able to attend online, and I'll send that information tomorrow or ask staff to do that. So, and I thought that was important for the public to know as well that review is happening.
Right, and there probably is public consultation as well as
I
government.
don't know about the public consultations.
Okay,
Yeah, it's my understanding the same day there was a session for volunteer firefighters. But I'm
Yeah.
not sure the general public.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's good.
so maybe we can put updates in our newsletter if we get some that would be significant to the public. Great. Anybody else have any news to share? Well, I do. Of course. Anyway, I want to welcome, we have 3 new staff who've joined here at Town Hall. Wendy Chase is a financial clerk, Jamie Demone, public works technician, Joey Wenzel, public works technician casual, there's 4, and Jacob Ham with wastewater operator. And he hasn't started yet, but he will in the,
I think he had.
oh, he has.
I had emails from last week.
Oh, great, I've lost my tree cutter because he used to cut my trees.
Oh, really?
Might still be on.
On weekends, maybe, on weekends, okay. Well, that's wonderful, and also I do want to announce that if you all recall, in January, we had a very sad intimate partner death in our community. And there will be a dedication of a memorial bench at Jubilee Park on August 11th at 10:30, and the public is welcome. There are a couple little speeches that are going to, but insignificant speeches, and it's a time to remember Elaine and other people who have been traumatized by intimate partner violence or a victim. So anyway, keep that in mind.
So that'll be in the newsletter coming up?
we can see, I think we have time to get it in.
Okay, thanks.
It seems like we can do it.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. So we will move on. So we have the public input session and we have 4 people. This is scheduled for 15 minutes and I understand everyone wishing to speak will make their name known, their full name known and their civic address. And I have them in order. We'll have Derek McGrath go first and we have about 4 minutes each for time.
I'm Derek McGrath, 133 Pleasant Street. I don't really need to make a presentation. I have some questions. Is that appropriate now or at the end of the meeting?
Well, we don't typically
Yeah, I
respond.
think you can ask questions now, but typically the responses to questions are provided at the end of the meeting. So.
Okay, that's
you
fine.
can wait if you
I'll wait
just
till the
want
end of
to
the meeting.
ask,
then. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So Anthony Irving, is it Anthony? Yes, okay. Hi, Anthony.
I'm here about the problems with the
Where do you live?
23 Pleasant Street.
Oh, thank you.
I'm here because of the sidewalk interference at Eli Tricks. When I'd heard about the horrible event that took place there, I fairly soon went down to the area to determine whether it was accessible for a disabled person. I took my riding walker with me, and it was actually impossible without assistance from people. And I know that there are, it could have been made more accessible, but even if it was, I think it's really meddling with other aspects as well. If you come out of the post office and want to turn right, it's very hard to see what traffic's coming towards you there. So I feel there are 2 things: inaccessibility and also danger there. And it is taking up a bit of road that's not exactly wide anyway. And so those are the points I'd like to make. I think that's it.
Thank you very much. Next person is Chrissy Jackson, 23 Pleasant.
Yes, that's me.
Oh.
This is Jackson of 23 Pleasant Street. What I have to say really is just to add to what Dr. Irving said. If you want to see a really good way of extending your premises on the pavement, there's a restaurant in Bridgewater called La Cassette. Now, it's really a much wider pavement, but the whole point is that the walkway isn't at a right angle. It's sloped, like it's twice as wide at least. You can have 2 people, a mother with a buggy and a couple of kids. It's absolutely safe. It's so safe and it's so good to use. But Main Street is not the place for something like this because it has to be by virtue of its safety, it has to be bigger and more solid.
Thank you for your presentation. Ian McDonnell,
Hi, how are you doing?
that's fine, thank you.
My name's Ian McDonnell. I've been a resident here for 25 years, 30 years. 144 Freeman Vino Road, or Main Street,
Yes,
the big blue apartment building.
okay,
Now, I'm not here to debate whether the town should have said, yeah, the sidewalks good or not. But you've had a death, which slippery when it's wet. Is the town really opened itself up for a lawsuit? I'm just asking that question. Was this really thought out? No. That's up for you guys to decide. The camera, if you're not happy with your councillor's decision, there's elections. Vote them out. Yes. Thank you very much.
okay. Yes, Karen?
On something, Ann Crossman, Main Street here. I had written the town a couple of days ago and Kelly responded to let me know that letters from residents weren't welcome in the newsletter. And I wasn't trying to get some big promo done, but I wanted to say that I can't get over the impact
of the ferry trails that it's had. I overlook the pond area. And every day I see countless families, and you go and talk, the kids are laughing and they're loving every second. They're just, just mesmerized by each and every display. And I realize when I start walking around town and when I see these people in the parking lot, behind, that because of the big dust bowl here this year, if the girls just hadn't happened to introduce the ferry trails this year, I think Mahone Bay would be almost empty.
Yeah.
I think that people that I know, Halifax, bypassing it, go straight to Lunenburg, or, they'll come next year. But because families have already told their kids they're gonna go see, ferry trails, they have to pull in and do it anyway, and it's not a big deal once they do, it's, it's all fine. So, but I just wanted to say that I just can't get over the impact. I knew it was gonna be a cute idea, but I think that it has saved Mahone Bay this summer, and I just want to say.
Someone's breaking fairy dust on you.
I see them every day, it's crazy, it's crazy. Yeah.
Thank you for your presentation. Is there anybody else? No? Okay, well, thank you. And we will move on to presentations, and we have the Menard family. Are they doing anything at all? Nothing?
No, yes.
Oh,
We are
okay.
instead. We are instead. This is actually for the benefit. I think that none of the council would have been approached to be signing a petition here in town. It's called Petition Sidewalks Are for People. And that's all that it deals with, is the fact that the people don't have the sidewalk on Main Street. We, the undersigned, call on the town of Mahone Bay to take immediate action to ensure pedestrian safety by modifying the patio structure in front of the restaurant Eli and Tricks, which currently obstructs the public sidewalk. We ask that the patio be removed or restructured to create a clear, accessible pedestrian way. And so this was taken around to all kinds of people. And I was one of the earlier signatories, and I said, I'll be happy to get people. Because as it happens, just for interest's sake, I wrote to the town as soon as I saw the platform was built, and at least a week before it was lawfully opened, because I was very concerned. As you mentioned, so there's several different angles going on here. The site from the post office, the safety with the closeness to the traffic, the inaccessible aspect. There's several, and I had asked that they pause the construction while perhaps the community was asked for their input. But sadly, that didn't happen. So in any case, this is a petition, and we just wanted all of you to see it because it's huge. So I'm just gonna pass this on down, and Murray's gonna help me just send this out. And this is all residents of Mahone Bay, not other areas, or not areas that do business here, or use our shops and our businesses. It's purely residents of Mahone Bay. And it's endless. I had people telling me that, Anne, I've never signed a petition in my life. This one I'm signing, because everybody that lives here in Mahone Bay has been feeling some of the problems. They either have friends or neighbors who aren't having trouble getting to the pharmacy or the grocery store. We've had several accidents. I think you're all aware. There's been some injuries. And so I think that there's a lot of people that have a whole. Anyway, we wanted you to see it because this represents, I think, close to about 400 signatures. And I think the Mahone Bay is about 1,000 people, and there's got to be at least a couple hundred of those are under 18. So, we've got half, and I think you just stopped asking at some point because the town said isn't interested in the petition. But we wanted all the councillors to see it, and for anybody who's watching to know how many people got involved with this to try to have some kind of a change to make it safe to be on Main Street at Avenue.
I think there's no public, we had our public input. Pardon? At the end, there is a time for question. And only people who registered to present do this part of the meeting. Thank you. Well, thank you for your presentation. Are you leaving that petition with the?
No, but we're happy to have a copy sent to you if you'd like a
I'll
copy.
send it to you electronically. Okay.
Unless you'd like to hang it, you
Yeah,
know,
well-
across the front of the town hall.
Well, you never
You
know.
tapestry.
Yeah.
But if you can send a digital version, that would be appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, and, we will move on to correspondences. We have numerous, let's see. Is there any discussion over the correspondences? Councilor Phoenix.
Mayor, as you know, in our meeting of the 8th of, or maybe it was the 9th of July, council asked the community to, inform council by providing written correspondence that could be entered into the public domain. I think that that objective was certainly met and widely participated in. I think there were 22 or 23 of submissions of correspondence under that request. And, the objective, of course, of having the correspondence is to get into the public domain and having it be available for the community to read at length. And I think that has certainly happened in this case. So with that context, I'd move as our normal standard process to receive and file items 6.1 through 6.23, as well as, no, I think that's right. I think 6.1 through 6.23.
23.
Maria Butts, I think is the last.
Okay. Okay, is there a seconder? Council Wilson?
I'll second the motion with the notation that 6.19 is missing. There is no 6.9.
Fair enough.
Okay. Any discussion? Oh, Council Carr.
I'm curious to know how we should treat the letter from Corinne, Murdoch, whose letter did not appear in the printed agenda, but whose letter we actually added to the agenda,
Yes.
so can we read it aloud
we-
or?
Can you add it as 6.19?
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I guess I'm asking this because all the other letters have been seen by the public,
Right.
and Corinne Murdoch's letter has not been seen by the public. So
So in the
Yeah.
past, what we've done is we've added it to the package on the website tomorrow. or we-
Yeah.
Okay. So if anyone were looking to see it, it will be in the meeting package for tonight, but it will be in there as of tomorrow morning.
And will it be 6.19? Or?
There you go.
Okay.
We held a spot for it. We just didn't know.
Okay. All right, any further discussion? Is there? No? Okay, so we have a motion and a seconder, ready for the question? All those in favor, signify aye. Opposed, nay. The motion is carried. We now move on to, there is a letter 6.24. Blue Lantern, is that something we?
Well, speaking to that, we have discussed and supported the position of the Wooden Boat Society in the submission to the Department of Fisheries and Oceans and the position of the Owen Islands Conservation Association to the Department of Fisheries as part of submission on this scallop farm proposal off Indian Point. And that is still a matter of waiting for the next step, whether the DFO accept that submission, which is delayed another 6 months.
Okay,
So it'd be receive and file.
receive and file, you make that motion,
I do.
Councilor Pulverman, is there, and second by Councilor Feeney? Okay, yes.
But are they not asking for a letter of support or?
Um, we have supported, and I referred that to the group, this particular group, another petition. In that we supported the Wooden Boat Society's position at a previous council meeting and Micah's position at a previous council meeting, and that is adequate.
Okay,
So are those, just for the record, are those positions the same as the one in the correspondence?
Yes,
Oh, so just to make it a little bit.
Yes.
any other questions? Discussion? No? Ready for the question? All those in favor signify aye. Opposed, nay. The motion is carried. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I've lost my screen and I don't see Counselor,
TVs, if you can see the TVs.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
It's not a great angle.
Yeah, somebody keep your eye on Counselor.
We're asking Michelle.
Yeah,
There he's waiting.
sorry, deputy.
That's okay. No offense taken.
Okay. Moving on to item 6.5, the Quinlan Board of Directors concern about ferry trail route. I do understand they are in discussion. Counselor Wilson.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that we've recent correspondence says that that group is in contact with the Quinlan group, and I think we can justifiably back away since it's not really our project, so also
Okay.
move to receive and file.
Okay, and second by Counselor.
I was just going to say, as a further update, I believe the accommodation has been agreed.
Okay, that's good to
I
know.
understand anyway.
And are you seconding that motion?
Sure.
Yeah, and you're seconding that motion? Okay, any further discussion? Being none, I'm gonna call for the question. All those in favor signify aye. Opposed, nay. The motion is carried. Thank you. And then a letter from Barry Dupuy regarding the Riverport Electric Light Commission. Is Councillor Carver?
I'd like to move that, Mr. Dupuy receive a reply from Town Hall, either from, the mayor or the CAO, in response to the points that he's raised or the questions that he's asked.
Okay, is there a second? Councillor Cooney? Okay, any second, any discussion?
Just to tiny little wording wise thing, but, so normally the motions are to direct, so, just to direct staff to prepare or prepare for the signature of the mayor. I think in this case, since it's not a formal letter, just be to direct staff to prepare a response. If you don't mind,
No, that would be.
Kelly and I were just talking about the phrasing of direction and motions today, so.
Yeah,
So I move that, council direct staff to prepare a letter for, in reply to Mr. Dupuy,
okay,
but answering his questions.
okay, and you're
As
in
a-
agreement with that, Councillor
Mhm.
Cooney? Thank you. Any further discussion? Being none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor signify aye. Opposed, nay. Deputy Mayor, the motion is carried.
I had my hand up. Yep, it was a yes. I'll
Okay,
wave more.
yeah, okay, thank you. Be the Peace, we get a letter from Be the Peace, concerning about proposed expansion of alcohol availability. There's a campaign going on presently here in Nova Scotia about a change to the liquor laws, so. Is there any request for this? Any, no? Receive and file? Receive and file, okay, and just, and then there's also a letter, 6.8 from Raymond Wagner, legal representative for Kitchen Hospitality Group. Is there any discussion here? No?
So Mayor, I move that we receive and file items 6.27 and 6.28.
Okay, seconder there,
Second.
okay, is there discussion?
I would just note that our solicitor will respond to their solicitor's letter.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right. Thank you for that. Any further discussion? No? All those in favor signify aye. Opposed, nay. The motion is carried. And just checking my screen. Yeah, so we're moving on to staff reports. 7.1, staff report to council on July 8th, 2025. So is that,
Just the regular report to council if there's any question.
okay,
Mayor, just had one question on item 3, which is, I guess the status report on the renovation of the public washroom in Main Street. I know that there's a few items to be buttoned down as far as accessibility in the sidewalk up front. We discussed later in the meeting, but I'm just wondering, when is the facility open for open for business?
Just to make sure people know, the Edgewater one is open for business.
Right, of
now.
course.
Yeah, with the caveat that because the entryway is part of the Edgewater project, we can't say it's 100% accessible with the redesign because the interior is all redone, but the entryway will be finished as part of the Edgewater project.
Mhm.
But the washrooms are open. And
Okay.
to the Main Street ones, I do think the tender will be issued next week. That's what the specific point you were
Okay.
speaking to.
but they're still open.
Main Street is still open,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
they're not gonna close until after Thanksgiving, but the
Okay.
tender will be for construction beginning Thanksgiving week.
Fair enough.
Okay, Councillor Wilson.
Item 5, I may have totally missed the boat on this, but it says that we're going to have an application to the NRB regarding a general rate application by the end of the month, which is today. And it's not yet begun, so I'm wondering if that's been canceled for other reasons or what's going on.
It was just one of a couple of staff reports that got pushed from this meeting till the 15th for time, so we will have an iron.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else to discuss here under the staff reports? No,
Mayor, I'd move that we accept the staff report for information.
thank you. Second, by Councillor Carver. Okay, any further discussion? No, seeing none, I'm calling for the question. All those in favor signify aye. Opposed, nay. The motion is carried. Thank you. Item 8 is council items, and a letter has been sent to let Ramsey Duff, the CAO of McLeod
We
Group.
have 4 under 7, we only did 7.1.
Oh, just 7.1. Okay, well, all right, sorry. I don't have my, sorry, I don't have my screen open. I missed that. Staff report, the sidewalk patio process, that's item 7.2.
So this report was obviously requested at council's meeting on July 8th, and it is just provided for information. I'm happy to take any questions in that regard.
Okay, are there any discussion? Oh, no? Councillor Carver?
If there aren't any questions, I would like to make a motion.
Yes.
I move that council hereby adopt the Nova Scotia Built Environmental Accessibility Standards due to come into effect April 1st, 2026, to be applied to any applications received under the Streets and Sidewalks bylaw after the date of this motion being July 31st, 2025.
Is there a second for this motion? Councillor Twano? Thank you. Any discussion? Councillor Halferman?
Yeah, perhaps the CEO could elaborate on roughly what this new regulation implies.
Yeah, happy to, and it does speak to this a little bit in the report as well. So essentially, Nova Scotia hasn't had its own accessibility standards. The province in 2017 with the Accessibility Act realized that the existing standards that are essentially drawn from other jurisdictions are not good enough, and set out a very robust process to develop new standards, which do take effect April 1 of 2026. This is part of the Accessibility Act implementation. It speaks to the built environment. So the new regulations are online, and they do speak very specifically to temporary sidewalks and requirements for sidewalk patios. So obviously there'd be some direct impact of the implementation of these regulations on the application of our streets and sidewalks bylaws, which would have taken effect April 1 per provincial legislation. But if this motion were to pass, then would be applied as of today's date going forward.
Going forward, not retroactive. Is that understood? Yes, Councillor Wilson?
I'm just curious, is this fairly easy to implement in terms of the mechanics of it?
Well, I think, yeah, because the nature of the permit application process is this is only applying to new construction. So because the standards are laid out very comprehensively online, staff can point any applicants to them and evaluate compliance with them quite easily. Yeah, it's actually a big improvement on the existing application of standards as detailed in the report.
Any other questions?
Mayor, this strikes me as a good start. You know, we've got this unusual circumstance where the provincial regulations are kind of like well vetted through the legislative process, implemented through the House, and yet aren't taking effect until next April. And so we've been relying on our rules from 2008, even with the knowledge that the new updated, more modernized rules to comply with kind of modern accessibility standards are right in front of us to be implemented for April 1st. So I think Councillor Carver is threaded the needle well here. I understand that we can do this this is a regulation, so it doesn't require an amendment to the bylaw at this point to come into effect. So that the practical reality is that this will come into effect, this new standard will come into effect immediately.
Yeah,
Is that fair?
pursuant to
Is that
the other
fair?
motion passed on the 8th, the bylaw does still obviously require modernization. There's a lot more information that could be included.
Mhm.
There's also, in terms of sidewalk patio specific stuff, a lot that would be found in other sidewalk patio bylaws that isn't necessarily reflected in our bylaw. But that will all come in September with the reports that's been commissioned with council already. In the meantime, as you said, this is a regulatory change, essentially saying when staff are applying the bylaw as written, the standards they will draw upon will be the standards which would have been due to take effect April 1, rather than the standards which would otherwise have been in place, which again are not actually set in our bylaw. They're just the standards that prevail in Nova Scotia at the time.
Okay. Any further discussion? No, being none, I'm going to call for the question. All those in favor signify aye. Opposed, nay. The motion is carried. Thank you. Moving on to item 7.3, Heritage Grant Fund Policy Amendment. Who takes the lead on this?
So this was actually deferred from council's previous meeting.
Right.
So I guess if there's any questions, we can answer them, but you have probably the opportunity to discuss.
Deputy Mayor, do you have anything to add
No.
to this?
Nothing really to add. I mean, this is an alignment with what is happening at the provincial level. So I think all we're doing is aligning to the timetables or the timeline of grants that can be done every 2 years as opposed to ours, which is a longer time span. So I think we're just aligning on the provincial level in terms of timing. So it's positive.
I think people renovating would enjoy that.
Yep. Mayor, I'd move that council adopt the amended Heritage Property Grant Fund Policy as presented.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Second by the Deputy Mayor. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, any further discussion? Any questions? No? Being none, I'm calling for the question. All those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The motion is carried. Don't make me giggle. There. We're going on to item 7.4, which is a request for direction with our land use bylaw amendments. So,
Thank you. Yeah, this one does require a little bit more
okay,
introduction, I think. So I think most people watching, most people present, certainly the members of council, I hope, would remember the Plan Mahone Bay process where we spent quite a few years with the steering team, the PAC and the previous council, working on the new land use bylaw and municipal planning strategy after about 13 years. The document's very comprehensive, and so typically going through that kind of a process results in a lot of issues shaking out through the first few applications that come through. A little challenging for those folks who are making those applications, and that's exactly what we run into here. There's a long list of would-be housekeeping amendments due to go to the Planning Advisory Committee this fall. The planners have been preparing based on various issues encountered or interpretation challenges where they can be clarified. We dealt with one a couple of months ago that had come up that was getting in the way of potential applications, and now we're having one that's getting in the way of renovations to some existing buildings, in particular, in this case, the Anglican Church. Which has gone through a long, lengthy process to add a washroom there, which has already been approved by our Heritage Committee and sought funding at a higher level and obtained funding, to my understanding. Now, under the new bylaws, they're running into an issue based on the elevation of the structure relative to the harbor.
Right.
So you may recall, we brought in a vertical setback, and by my recollection, the main intention of that was for new construction. But unfortunately, the wording has it applying to renovation of existing structures, essentially meaning the entire church would have to be brought up like a meter in order to add a washroom. So everyone understands that's not the intention of the bylaw, but it will have to go through a process. And in order to expedite that, so the church can get on with the work, the planners have brought this report separately from the larger housekeeping list, which we will still get to, with the request that it go out to a public information meeting and on to planning advisory committee, which would be the September planning advisory committee meeting. So that's as fast as it can go through the proper channels, and happy to address any questions. The recommendation there is the council, that's number one, the council does direct staff to schedule a public information meeting.
This has been a long time coming for them. They've worked hard.
I'm happy
Okay,
to make that motion. Your worship.
okay, thank you, Councilor Wilson, and second by Councilor Polterman. Thank you.
If I may, I just
Yes.
would add that this is not the first time this has happened.
Yes. Yes. I think we dealt with an issue, not this one, but I know we did deal with one earlier as well.
And just to clarify, the motion is to, for option 2.
Option 2,
For-
yes.
Mhm.
Option 2,
For
yeah.
option one.
Option one.
Council directs staff to schedule
Oh,
public
right, sorry,
information.
sorry.
I don't know what Chester does as a part of the practice, always include a motion to not do what they're recommending. But you just skip that one, the recommendation was that one.
Yeah.
Okay, is there a second? Who second?
It
Oh,
was-
Polterman did,
Yeah.
that's right. I have it. Any further discussion? Anybody have any questions? Okay, being none, I'm calling for the question. All those in favor signify aye. Opposed, nay. The motion is carried. Thank you. Moving along to 7.5, Regional Economic Development Initiative. Did you want to speak to that?
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to add to this one, except that it's my understanding that this is something that has now been agreed to by other municipal units in the county and submitted to the province by the District of Lunenburg for funding. So we are being requested to contribute, but for clarification, I do believe that the initiative would likely proceed either way. So that the question was raised, are they waiting for us? I don't think they are, but they're giving us the opportunity to participate.
Participate. This is sort of to replace what used to be the REN and find another alternative or some type of organized economic development. I don't know what you would call it. Some of you have been through the REN before.
Yeah, and for
Some are-
clarity, it's only a proposal to look at a feasibility study about such a thing. It's not to actually establish it on the basis of this vote. Just want to make sure everybody doesn't think you're being asked to do that.
Right. So,
I have mixed feelings about this.
so
One is,
do we need a
Oh.
motion first to discuss it, or can we just
No, no.
discuss it? We can just discuss it, okay. Thank you.
have the preamble
Go
discussion.
ahead, preamble.
On the one hand, I think it's really good to have that intermunicipal collaboration. And the positive aspect of this is much more geographically confined than the REN was. The REN spread all the way from the edge of Halifax, all the way down to Barrington and beyond. And it was an enormous area. So this proposal is much tidier, much neater. And it's only $2,500. So I mean, I think it's worth chiming in. Because there maybe some good coming out of it. So that's, what am I downside of this? It's the problem, oh, the downside or the confusion for me is that this request is coming for municipal units, whereas the business associations of those same municipal units already have a business associate, I mean,
A large-
intermunicipal business association.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of confused about the relationship between those two things, and ideally they would be linked. And maybe the feasibility study would say that.
Well, I think the discussion that I have heard, and probably the CAO probably picked this up too, is they want to stay small. They may include Queens with this, but they don't want a South Shore. They want it to be Lunenburg, Queens, so that there's more focus. The other one goes much further down the shore. No, the one that the business group is part of.
Oh, it's going farther?
They had us in for,
Yeah, I don't actually remember where the.
yeah, some of them are down in Barrington, like some of the, yeah.
I
Yeah,
thought it was
so
going
it's a larger one, so I think there needs to be some discussion as to, size and whatnot too, but that's all part of having it looked into, the study and whatnot. Yeah,
So I agree with Councillor Carver. I mean, there's a virtue in participation, in collaboration. It's nice to see Lunenburg's part of the mix for a change, kind of coming to the table. So but I mean, to be frank, I mean, people around the table, and we've been to this dance before, and the track record of organizations like this has been poor, to be frank. Maybe this will be better, but we've gone through the REN, we had the RDAs, they've imploded due to and been largely ineffectual. And generally, there's like no real alignment with the province and their agenda for economic development. So it's not crystal clear what we're getting, what the mandate is, what the governance model is. There's a million questions, but notionally, for us to be at the table, it's worth their while to do that.
There has been some discussion where, quite a few of the municipalities have their own economic development staff. We don't. So, I think Chester's too, and there's several over at Modal, and Bridgewater has people too, so.
Well, you'll notice on the list in the presentation, it's, everybody else has one, and then it just says my name with like an asterisk. through the whole thing.
And they also have industrial, they have land that they're trying to sell, and like, I mean, these are remnants from a bygone era. And one more kick at the can, we'll see how this one does. But they're very much industrial estate strategies, right?
Right, Councilor Wilson.
Yeah, the one more kick at the can idea is why I will raise my hand dutifully as a yes. But these things have been abysmal historically, just a total waste of money, so I will ride along for now, but I expect nothing.
Fair enough.
Councilor Carver.
Well, I'm in my Pollyanna mode.
Oh, yeah.
There are examples of REMs around the province that are quite successful and doing some really great projects. And if we put in the $2,500 now for the feasibility study, when it did actually, we see the study, then we can make a decision about whether we want to continue at that point.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? You love economic development, Councilor Coleman, you're so quiet.
Same as Councillor Wilson, frankly. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Councilor
So
Cornell, no remarks, okay, does someone want to make a motion or? Okay, Pollyanna?
I'll move that we contribute $2,500 to be part of the feasibility study project.
There's a seconder? Councilor Wilson? Thank you. Ready for the question, I assume. All those in favor, signify aye. Opposed, nay. The motion is carried. Thank you. I guess we get a name tag, do we? Okay, staff report, sludge survey proposal. This was an interesting
So from
report to read.
$2,400 for regional economic development to $9,400 to find out how much sludge is in a pond. Does anyone have any questions? I think it's pretty self-contained proposal.
I think it's a deal we really need to take advantage of, the fee?
I mean, it's just essentially, this is work that should be paid from reserve and would have been done in the next couple of years. The reserve balance is there. There's a bit of a savings to do it now. And it will give us better information for our capital planning. So, let's not stick our heads in the sludge and go ahead and find out what the situation is.
Okay. Any discussion, Council Wilson?
I'll make that motion that council approve the proposal for hydro survey at a cost of $9,470 plus
Okay,
HST.
thank you. And Council Pulverman is seconded. Thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, calling for the question. All those in favor signify aye. Opposed, nay.
I'm a
I.
yes for this
You're a
pledge.
yes. How about you, deputy? The motion is
I
carried.
was a yes. Sorry. I'll keep trying to wave my hands.
Okay,
Mhm.
item 7.7, the
I'll leave my mic on.
climate ready infrastructure service study.
So this is, I guess, the latest, I'll give a little bit of preface, it's the latest update in a long effort. So just to add a little bit of detail to what's described in the report, which should be redundant for council members, but for anyone watching, the town has a very substantial objective of replacing water mains, sewer lines, and raw water transmission lines under Main Street, which all date back to the 1940s. It's been identified as a critical priority. But unfortunately, to do the stretch from the point where the new lines from the treatment facility reach Main Street, which is across from the new McLeod nursing home, down as far as the cenotaph, is currently estimated at $19 million. So with that in mind, the town is obviously looking for external funding, and we're currently waiting on a pretty substantial funding application to the Canada Housing Infrastructure Fund. We'll find out if that is successful. But in the meantime, we were able to obtain 100% funding for the study, which provides definitely a lot of things to think about around stormwater management. Happy to take questions from council members. The main purpose of putting this on the agenda here now is to put it in the public domain and give us the opportunity to take some time to think about options. So I'm not necessarily expecting a lot. It's a lengthy report, but if you do have anything, one option as well might be to refer this to the Asset Management Committee if they want to have some further discussion, but I'm happy to take any questions.
Councilor Pulverman, what do you think from the asset management perspective?
Well, it's certainly a focus of the Asset Management Committee, so it'd certainly be worthwhile referring it to the committee.
But you won't be meeting again until September, right?
This is just a report, is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if we get good news or bad news about
Yeah.
funding,
Well,
we'll talk.
We'll adjust accordingly.
Okay.
So I would make a motion to refer it to Asset Management Committee for comments.
Okay, good. Is there a second? Oh, Councilor Carver, thank you. Any discussion here? Any questions? Being none, all those in favor signify by aye.
I
Opposed, nay. The motion is carried. Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
I'll leave my microphone on.
Mayor, under council business, there was an oversight earlier in the meeting on a motion that I think there's a consensus of council that wanted to be tabled. I'm hoping you could indulge another
Oh.
council item if you don't mind.
Sure.
With it.
Okay, so we'll put it as 8.2.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is everyone in consensus with that, adding it?
Yep.
Okay, great, we will do that. So we do council item, letter to Ramsey Duff, CEO, McLeod Group Health Services Limited. That was in the package. This is just part of the development agreement and compliance, so it's a letter of welcome.
So essentially, rather than putting a motion in here, as we talked about, that would be to direct staff to send a letter to Ramsey Duff of the McLeod Group. The letter is here, but that is the recommended motion in association with the draft letter.
Councilor Wilson?
I've been thinking about this quite a bit because I'm trying to understand the purpose of the agreement as regards buffering that particular sight line. Because although I understand the club group aren't in compliance at the moment with the trees aren't high enough or whatever, the fact is that no matter the height, it usually have to be very, very high to block off the sight line from the neighbors across the street. So I'm not sure I understand what we were trying to accomplish in the first place. And secondly, given that location and where those trees would be trying to grow, I can't help but think that if we insist on having an 8 foot sightline interruption, if I can use that term, that there are lots of better ways of doing it that are more likely to succeed. And I think, for example, a wall with a ivy type of growth on it on the street side that would be easy to maintain and bulletproof in terms of the result. I think if we do what this is suggesting, we're just throwing good money after bad, or they're throwing good money after bad.
Thank you. Okay, CAO.
So just, I guess, two things. So quickly, just a little bit of history on, it actually wasn't even the town who requested this. The draft development agreement that had been proposed by the developer and accepted by the town didn't include this screening. And it was actually appealed by neighboring residents. And this was added through the utility and review board process. That's how this provision got in there. So I guess as far as, my second comment is actually the McLeod group can, and certainly doesn't need this letter to tell them that they can, comply with the screening requirements through construction of something like a wall or, fence that isn't transparent. Right now, there's a chain link fence. So ultimately, those are options available to them, whether or not the letter is sent, or if a different letter that were to cite those options were sent. I guess as a suggestion, if there's any sort of pullback from council as to why this is a beneficial thing, this provision in DA that was agreed to, council may want to invite conversation with the neighbors who were the original appellants.
Councilor Carver.
Yes, my brain was just arriving at that idea that rather than sending this letter, which is sort of like an ultimatum, doesn't allow for much discussion, to revisit that conversation amongst between the nursing home and the neighbors, with the town perhaps acting as a mediator.
I tried.
In some way. And but as Councillor Wilson was speaking about the height, I suddenly had this vision of those evergreen trees growing, because as they grow taller, they're going to grow wider, and they get very, very wide. And there's a fence behind them, and there's a sidewalk right there. So I think the recommendation for all these the spruce trees is going to interfere with pedestrian walkway. So
So Mayor, I mean, we just didn't get here by happenstance. I mean, we're just looking, we're not looking to punish anybody. We just want compliance. And like that, there's expectations, there were promises made, and I think the promises kept. You've done what you could to mediate the situation. There's been lots of interaction between the business owner and staff. The promise that was made to allow the development agreement to go through hasn't been established. So I think this letter is entirely appropriate. I think we should send it, and we'll see what the reaction is.
I just had a comment as well, if I might.
Yes, Deputy.
I mean, doesn't this speak to the spirit of development agreements in general and in the future? And, perhaps the wording could be slightly changed, or it's a different kind of tree or something like that. But the spirit and the intention of the original development agreement was that there would be screening. And I think what we're doing tonight is sending a message not only to the commercial organization, but also to future developers and to residents of the community, that if we as a town hall come up with an agreement on a development, that we will stand by it. So I think this kind of communication is not only not only regarding, I'm sorry, it's midnight here in London, so it's not just about this particular scenario. I think it's about the future as well. So I'm inclined to say let's send it and continue that dialogue.
Okay.
Thank
Councillor-
you.
I agree your letter should be sent. I think it might be reasonable, given the other suggestions made, that the letter being modestly changed to read something like or other alternative screening options.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. That is in agreement with the,
I'm just looking to see where you were thinking to add that sentence.
Well, I didn't have the letter open, actually.
I guess it could go in, yeah, I guess it could go in between the two sentences in paragraph 3. So this would be trees that are dead or nearly dead should be replaced. Replacement trees can be the same size that the healthy ones currently are or larger. And then what was your sentence?
Or other acceptable alternative screening options,
So maybe in that paragraph.
something like that.
Right.
I don't want to get too far into words.
No,
right
no,
now,
no.
But obviously, if there's going to be a motion to send the letter as amended, I wouldn't want people to be surprised by the amendment. So I'm good when you are in terms of understanding.
Okay.
Is there a motion on the floor? Or
There is no
not
motion.
yet? But I would ask you to consider adding also vegetation that is appropriate for the site. That would account for the way the trees grow.
And obviously, you're asking whoever makes the motion, but could I comment on that?
Yes.
Yeah. So these were reviewed, the suggested species and everything by our arborists. And I will say, just by coincidence, our climate and energy coordinator, Lauren, and myself were visiting the former mayor recently and had the opportunity that the former mayor, Virginia woman, and had the opportunity to observe her beautiful evergreen hedge through, careful maintenance. It has been maybe 2 meters deep. It's not impossible to maintain an evergreen hedge. And part of the DA requirements is that this is year-round screening. So if vegetation is going to be used, there aren't that many options that would not require maintenance. And so that's why the letter does say maintenance would be, important. So anyway, that's all just considerations. We can look for.
Councillor Swan.
Maybe we could just add that at the end of that paragraph, so that it states all of the trees being replaced stays together, and then it's like another option. Instead of breaking it up, the paragraph.
Yeah, I mean, doing it on the fly, but if we're good with the general sentence getting in there, either in that paragraph or the following, and thank you, I agree, it might be a better word.
Okay, somebody want to make a motion?
Motion.
Councillor Toronto.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Okay.
And the motion is that the letter as amended be sent.
The letter as amended be sent. Okay. Any further questions, discussion? Being none, calling for the question, all those in favor signify aye.
I
Opposed, nay. The motion is carried, thank you. Hey, we have 8.2, Councillor Feeney.
Mayor, we discussed Councillor Carver's motion that passed unanimously earlier in the meeting. And this motion probably would have been better tabled there for context, but I'll make it now. And that is to direct the council, direct staff to prepare a letter on behalf of council for the mayor's signature to the owner of 538 Main Street, encouraging the business owner to consider adjustments to the sidewalk patio at the location to adhere to the Nova Scotia built accessibility standards that are due to come into effect on April 1st, 2026.
All right. Is there a second for that motion? Councillor Wilson? Okay. Okay, any discussion?
I just had a question.
Yes,
So the letter is suggesting, it's not a sort of an enforcement, it's a suggestion to adhere to that, right?
it's an ask.
So, yeah,
It's an ask.
Yeah,
It's an ask.
Yeah,
Okay.
with the current
Great.
permit in place till September, right?
Right. Okay. Thanks.
Still 60 days away.
Okay. Any further discussion? No, calling for the question. All those in favor signify aye.
I,
Opposed, nay. The motion's carried. Okay. Thank you for that. Moving on to committee reports, 9.1 Social Open Doors Association monthly report. You all receive that in the package. It's always a good report to update yourself on the living situation of many people here in Lunenburg County. Any discussion? No? Advisory committee, are there any motions that need to come out of that or? No?
Heritage Advisory Committee.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
was there anything?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm ready for
Okay,
With the-
Counselor Wilson.
that. Move the council begin the process of registering the property at 430 Main Street as a municipal heritage property and direct draft to schedule a hearing.
Okay.
I'll second the
Anyone
motion.
second that, Counselor
Um,
Carver?
But I'm seconding the motion with the proviso that a sentence in the statement of significance that is included in the package be changed and this if in the wording that I discussed this afternoon with the chair of the Heritage Advisory Committee.
Okay.
Yep.
Is that an agreement? Yes, Deputy? Yeah.
absolutely, it's all good.
Okay.
Slightly,
Great.
slight refinement, but well worded. Thank you, Penny.
Thank you, Colin.
All right. So we have a motion and a seconder. Is there any other discussion?
I'll abstain from the vote.
You'll abstain from the vote. Thank you.
Fair enough.
Okay. All those in favor signify aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The motion is carried. Thank you, folks. Moving on to Asset Management Committee draft minutes. Were there any motions involved in?
There were a couple.
Do you have those in front of you, Council Pufferman, or
Yes.
would you like to present those, or?
Sure. That's. Committee recommends the council refer to the Planning Advisory Committee consideration of potential revision of subdivision bylaw concerning notice requirements to neighbouring properties in the event of subdivision application.
Okay, is there a seconder for that motion? Oh, second by Councillor Carver, thank you. Discussion.
Brian, can you provide a little Cole's notes for the context of the motion?
Sorry, ask me to remember.
Sorry about that.
I think I could help Brian if you want.
Okay, if you can, yes.
So, we were just discussing how people become aware of a subdivision application. And the provision currently, I think, is just adjacent, like directly bounding properties. Whereas variance applications go to properties within 30 meters under the land use bylaw. So while this isn't strictly speaking the business of the Asset Management Committee, since it came up as an inconsistency that perhaps the subdivision bylaw should provide notice to people within 30 meters, then the committee felt that it would be a good thing to recommend over to council rather than just to sort of drop it because it wasn't part of their jurisdiction. Brian, feel free to add to it, but that was my recollection.
Yes, that sounds right.
Okay, it's clear and understanding, okay. Okay, even I was there and I needed that refresher. Okay, ready for the question? All those in favor signify aye. Opposed, nay.
The second
Carried.
motion is the council direct staff to write to the Bay to Bay Trail Association, copying the Minister of Natural Resources, citing concerns regarding the impact of infrastructure work on the trail on stormwater flows and vegetation. In other words, by background, the Department of Natural Resources is involved in taking down trees and ditching and whatnot, and of course it has impacts on the town. So what we would like to do is to register those concerns because it will directly impact our own attempts to manage stormwater flows.
And much of it is being directed at the town.
Well, water goes downhill.
Councillor Carver, you'll second the motion, thank you. Okay, Council Wilson.
Before we move on, it might be wise to just double check on who is doing that work. Because I'm not entirely sure it's DNR.
So we do have at the staff level contact with the people doing the work. And it is our understanding that it's DNR's project. Now, those were engineers, so maybe the contractors are a different party.
Okay, the reason I know is because there's money flowing in from places other than DNR to do this work. And, anyway, it's fine, it's just detail, I suppose.
Okay.
Yeah, I think perhaps the right to the Bay to Bay Trail, copy of the Minister of Natural Resources is a good reflection of that, if in fact there's other. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions, discussion? Being none, calling for the question, all those in favor signify aye. Opposed? The motion is carried. Audit and Finance Committee draft minutes of July 17th. Were there any further? No? Okay, so can we have somebody make a motion to file 9.1, 9, and I think it's 9.4 for information?
So
Council Wilson, second by Councillor Twano. Okay, all those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Okay. The motion is carried. We are going on to new business and there's no new business coming forward on the agenda, so we will now move on to are there any questions online from the clerk?
No, no questions.
Okay, can you put up your hand if you are wanting to ask a question? Okay, and Derek, you were, okay, and I don't know who.
I'm sure you know who's.
Shireen?
Gerald.
Geraldine, oh,
Yes.
oh, okay, okay, okay. Okay, is there anyone else? Okay, Bill? Okay, anyone further? Okay, yes? Okay,
Oh, I should stand up to shine.
do you wanna start first?
You know who I am.
Okay, but, okay, thank you. All right, Derek, would you like to ask your question?
Yeah, there's 3 quick questions. The concern is, Dylan told me the other day, but I wanted it on record. The patio license expires on September 30th. There's no option to renew it beyond that.
So I can speak to that. So a new application would have to be submitted. And per the motion that passed earlier, then the design reflected in that would have to comply with the April 1. Yeah.
Okay, and we are working on a new bylaw with this, that Penny put forward to take effect August 1st, but at least by October 1st.
No. So just for clarity, the standards that were just adopted have taken effect now under the existing bylaw.
Okay.
Essentially as a regulation to the bylaw, but the bylaw itself also will be updated. And there was a motion from Councillor Feeny on July 8th that staff will bring a report on, opportunities, best practices, examples, et cetera, to do with the drafting of that bylaw in September. And then obviously a bylaw drafting process, as I think people would know, includes public input and everything else. So it would begin in September, but it wouldn't be concluded instantly.
Okay, thank you very much.
Geraldine?
Yes, I'd like to address the town council on it, because on July 8th, you promised to do due diligence before making a decision on the patio. But it seems that the decision has already been made. And the 2 falls last week, one of which was confirmed with town hall as well. And why wait another 60 days? And what if the child gets hurt? And mentioning the ferry trails, because of the children and what I have witnessed when I was protesting. Right now, tonight, when I drove by, I see that they have the sign up for cocktails and drinks. And do you want that as our town? We're a town of 5 churches. Do you want to advertise alcohol being given on a street? And that's a private street. We can't even put yard sale signs up. We have to have it on our own property. So how do you feel? And what you're concerned about it as parents or people concerning the elderly, we're elderly. We need to be concerned, you need to be concerned about us walking and using your sidewalks. I've been here for 26 years paying taxes. What do you want to do? If I wanted to get one, I had 2 back operations. I'm looking at having to use it, operating a vehicle, a little small thing, a scooter, perhaps in my future in the summer. But I'm not interested in buying one to just drive 3 blocks and turn around. I wouldn't be able to get downtown. What are we gonna do? What are you gonna do? If it's a town of 5 churches, do you want to advertise alcohol? Because I was witness to a few men leaving there quite intoxicated that abruptly spoke with me as they walked by me with my sign and drove away in cars. What about children? What about the people walking on the sidewalk trying to get around that? They won't use it. I did the signage. There were people walking out around it. You know that in this town, all these years, it's been hard for people to get downtown because of everyone parking on the right-hand side. What now? When I went downtown today to get my mail, I couldn't find a place to park because those people that went into the restaurant parked their vehicles in front of the post office. Where's your parking? Where's our rights? I'm just asking for safety for the elderly because I am becoming, and I am one already. But what about you? Really, like, and all of you? You're on the council. Should you not stand up for what's right in this town? You worry about trees and you're concerned about heritage. Keep the heritage of our town. It was founded on goodness and righteousness and doing right for others and being good to your neighbor. It's, let's try to have a heart and have feelings and a soul about this. Please. Thank you.
Bill,
Well,
can you come up and?
I apologize to the council. I was a little late in coming, and so I had a statement I wanted to read. I had someone ask me to read it before the council, a letter. Then I have a few remarks of my own on the subject that was just presented. And I wonder if it's appropriate for me to do that at this time. As it was, I thought the meeting started at 7:30 and I was here at 10 after 7.
Yeah, if the comments pertain to something that was discussed on the agenda, I think most people's questions are as good as comments in the sense that they're referring to items that were on the agenda. So if your comments do relate to items that were on the agenda.
Well, if I overstep my bound with it, I certainly would hope that the council will take it in here. So this is a letter that.
Do you want to state your full name and your civic address? Please?
Yeah, Bill Lewis, I live at 78 Pleasant Street.
Okay.
Lisa Learning was not able to get this letter into the council on time, so she requested that I read it. And then following which I have a couple of points of view that I'd like to introduce as well. So she goes on to say, to whom it may concern, I'm writing to express my support for the Eli and Trix sidewalk patio, the first and only street patio in the town of Mahone Bay, and to advocate for its continued presence under a thoughtful, safety-first bylaw moving forward. First, I want to acknowledge the recent and tragic passing of Barb Menard, who reportedly tripped near the patio and passed away a few days later. This loss is heartbreaking and deeply felt across the community. I extend my sincere condolences to her family and friends. Her passing must prompt serious reflection, but it should also lead to improvement, not elimination. The Eli and Trix patio is a new idea for our town. It is a first-time initiative that brings something fresh to our streetscape. Like all new efforts, it presents an opportunity to learn, adapt, and strengthen how we balance public space, safety, and community vitality. Reasons to support the continued presence of Eli and Trix patio are these. This is the first season a sidewalk patio has been tried in Mahone Bay. It represents a step forward in how we use and share public space. New initiatives always involve a learning curve, and this is a natural point to evaluate and improve. It brings energy and activity to the downtown core. Even in its first season, the patio has created a welcoming street level space that encourages people to gather, connect, and enjoy the town. It supports a local business. For a small operator like Eli and Tricks, a sidewalk patio is not a luxury, but a vital tool for increasing capacity during the peak season. The business owners are community-minded and willing to adapt. Eli and Tricks have shown care for their neighbors and are open to making safety improvements in the line with new guidance. One tragic incident should not define the outcome of a forward-thinking initiative. The goal now should be to implement.
Mr. Lewis has the floor. You can continue.
Thank you. The goal now should be to implement improvements such as clearer markings, barriers, or signage to ensure that this can be both safe and successful. And lastly, it sets the stage for a smart, long-term bylaw. Council has an opportunity to lead with balance and care, creating a bylaw that protects public safety while also supporting reasonable local development. This is about more than one patio. It is about whether Mahone Bay chooses to evolve in thoughtful ways that reflect both compassion and vision. I urge council to continue supporting sidewalk patios, beginning with a commitment to improve and maintain this first example. Thank you for your time and consideration, Lisa Learning. So,
Who is Lisa Learning?
I understand she's a resident of Mahone Bay.
No, she is now a resident of Maitland.
Oh, okay. All right, well, I was just asked to read.
Okay.
However, I made.
So she wasn't a resident, I think that that's a fact.
I don't.
Because that's what, we all have to get up and speak and give our name and our
Yeah,
address.
Right.
And so
It's
this
just
is
a cover
somebody-
letter if we read.
Okay, order.
Didn't intend
That's-
to mislead anyone.
I understand what you're saying, and I didn't pick up on that at first, but anyway.
All right, that's you online.
Yeah, I hope they caught my good side. It looked okay.
They caught it was bad.
So, and these are some of the comments that I thought I would bring to the council's attention. The Everyday Tourist, which is a publication here in the province on July 2025, it had an article, "The Magic of Street Patios," and I'll quote from it. "Street patios represent the essential urban characteristic of Canadian city life by allowing people to have outdoor dining experiences. Montreal features approximately 3,000 patios spread across Old Montreal and Plateau Mount Royal districts among their ancient landmarks, as well as cobblestone walkways allowing visitors to enjoy superior dining experiences. The good climate of Vancouver allows year-round dining along the Gastown and Granville Street districts. The economic impact, huge. The hospitality sector received over 1.5 billion from outdoor dining operations in 2022. And customer spending increased in cities with ample patios throughout summer months. The rise in restaurant revenue in British Columbia exceeded 28% between May and September 2021 because of patio dining solutions. The Canadian hospitality sector heavily depends on outdoor dining through patios. The pandemic prompted restaurants and bar establishments to double their patio seating capacity after cities started easing regulatory restrictions. Quebec City extended summer terrace permits now allow patios to stay open from May to October. Halifax, meanwhile.
There's 30 seconds left for your time.
Okay, Halifax, meanwhile, has expanded its waterfront patios with nearly 50 establishments offering outdoor seating. I guess the point here is that there are any number of considerations, including safety and so on, but we are talking about an economic issue as well. And I think in coming up with a bylaw that makes the most sense, it should incorporate all of the considerations, both positive and negative, that convey to the community and in balance the record. So, while there's a lot of emotion and so on, I think at the end of the day, my experience in business has taught me that decisions are often best made with a cool view to them, where the facts and the figures are.
Order, your time's expired, and Heather, you have, you still want to speak? Sorry? Heather was on the list, were you not?
I am here. Okay, it's me, Heather Cruikshank again. I am,
And,
138 Framingham Road. Okay. There's still still a safety issue. So who's responsible for the next 2 months if the next person falls? The next person after that falls, another person? Who is responsible for those people that are falling? Is that on the one who is actually leasing our sidewalk and road? Or is it on us? Because we all are we're townspeople here. Why is this happening? Why does more have to happen? I am telling you, I am so disappointed. I waited, I took my time. The only reason I picked it the other day because I felt sad for those two little ladies sitting in chairs, grieving their friend that is not here. I am compassionate. I try not to raise my voice, but the stuff that I heard and just being there for 3 hours, shame on everyone.
Yes.
Shame on you. Shame on everybody who was waiting for 2 more months to see how many more people. And back to my question, who's responsible? Thank you.
So that, you know, council doesn't ordinarily answer this time, it is time for the public to speak, not for us to speak. We do listen to your remarks and your questions. Do we have any time left, clerk? Our time really has expired.
I just have a very short statement.
We don't get any
answer. People that work at these establishments, I'm just interested in saying a couple things. Because I have been going through this all since the beginning with all of you. And I don't know what's gonna happen or whether anything is, but what I do know is, Dylan, I know that you requested that there be a side put onto the using the crisscross lattice work across to protect anybody walking, because I just keep thinking about somebody walking with a toddler, and a toddler's gonna pull away from their mom, and they're gonna be on the street, for God's sakes, where the cars are, because there's nothing in the bylaw that you have, however limited it was and is, that says that it should, most of these things are always fully protected. They have sides to make sure that nobody can fall through. And this is about children. And the other thing is the bike riding. Kids, all these little kids, I see them, they're like 10, 12 years old, 14, and they're all riding on the road around it because it's not adequate to support a kid's bike. Like in terms of, I guess, the turns and stuff, and I see them every day. I see kids, you know, 1 or 2 or 3, depending, and so that's like, I know everybody's made the case about the disabled and the elderly, and we're all there. Most of us are of that age now. But and for some reason, it's just going to wait till September 30th and hope nobody dies. But the kids, I mean, I'm telling you, if a kid ever gets hurt because of this kind, like. This town is gonna be in just huge trouble. It's gonna be huge. Forget the 3 churches, it's gonna be known for, you know, children not being, so I really think that if you're not going to do anything until it's gone, at least could you not request, but insist that there be protection put up along where the road is or where the cars pass, so that no children can fall through, and that maybe there'd be some signage for kids on bikes that say how they should be going forward. Because You know, that's the final.
Insist
that's
that
the
as of
final.
tomorrow,
Okay.
these measures be taken for accessibility, there's no question about it.
Yeah.
And thank you to the manager of Eline Tricks for coming here and making your statements. The manager, the husband of the manager of Eline Tricks has made a statement this evening, thank you very much.
Oh, yeah.
There's no comment.
Oh, okay.
They mentioned it all.
Okay, our time has expired for public questions. We will, move on to our next item, which is, going into closed session. We will be going in for item 12.1 MGA 22.2A, acquisition, sale, lease, and security of municipal properties. 12.2 MGA 22.2C, contract negotiations, and 12.3 MGA 22.2F, litigation or potential litigation. Would someone like to make a motion for those?
Whether we go to closed
Thank
session.
you. Seconder, Councillor Carver. All those in favor signify aye. Aye. We are now going into closed session. We'll have a small recess, for, don't sign off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.